John Bramley, the interim president of the University of Vermont, met Wednesday, December 14th, with local lawmakers, economic development officials, and academics. Bramley said his successor must establish close ties to communities statewide, and he highlighted UVM's role as a research university and its plans to create online master's degree programs.
One of the things I think that's going to be very important, so my successor would be appointed, let's say March, for the sake of argument. That's what we're expecting. And I'm sure that Bill and the colleagues who are engaged in that process are going to hire somebody who cares about this relationship with Vermont and the role of a research university within it. Because you don't have to spend much time here to know that that's critical for us. As I've gone round, as I've enjoyed doing it, you know, we need to take the new president and build a way of introducing him or her to the state of Vermont. And it should be starting by meetings like this, frankly. And it should be a meeting in which I've suggested, for example, and you'll love this one, to my AD, to say, you know what, wouldn't it be fun to get the basketball team down and come and do as you know as well as I, there are limitations to who we can play external, but we can have a scrimmage. We can have the basketball players in the local school meeting there. We can have them meet kids from your college, and I mean there are things we can do. And they build relationships. They may sound trivial, but I don't believe it's trivial. So you do that. You bring a team of people who are going to meet with the local business community and find out what the concerns are or what the hang-ups are, and try and build relationships there. And you do it in Bennington, and you do it in Brattleboro, and you do it in Windsor and Springfield, whatever. You do it all the way through, and you keep doing it. You don't just do it once and say, well, it was nice to meet you, I'll be back in 10 years. You've got to do it all the time. So one of our big pushes, which comes back at some level to the demographic thing that I talked about too, we know there are going to be less students in Vermont, but you know what? There are less students in the Northeast, there are less students in the Mid-Atlantic. It's a regional problem, and that's where 90% of our students come from. So we're going to have to reach out to communities that go beyond that one way or another, and some of that is
you're going to have to bang on the doors just as well.
Yeah, and so we're now going to be launching a series of online master's degrees primarily, which I think could be very useful to a community like the Bennington County area. Some of those are going to be in the health sciences area, so we've already got a couple of those. We're hoping that one of them will actually be a new degree at some point, which is public health. We don't have one. There isn't anybody in the state that does an MPH degree. That, I think, could be a useful step for us to take. But then there are others which are, MBAs. Linking an MBA to what I see as a huge opportunity, whether it's in sustainable energy areas, or whether it's in food systems, or whether it's in health. There's going to be a lot of jobs and a lot of opportunity there, and I think that's the way we're going to have to deal with some of the geographic challenges. And they're there, but at the same time, I sometimes think that we use them as more of an excuse than we really should. We're not that big. We're the size of a county in many states. And we've just got to say, but that's where I think the message at UVM that I'm trying to promote, and within the state I'm trying to promote, is there is only one of those research universities. There's not going to be any more, and that's what you need to create businesses and jobs, and that's the role that we've really got to make work better.
Thank you.
We have, probably today, 30,000 students studying in the state of Vermont. Roundabout. Big chunk of them are UVM, but they're everywhere. Of those, probably at least, based on the numbers I've already got, at least 20,000 of them didn't come from the state of Vermont. They came from somewhere else to come here. As most of the people around this table came from somewhere else to come here. And many of those young men and women want to stay in this state. They want to get married, raise a family here, They may not want to pay taxes, but that's the usual consequence of that. And they want jobs here. And so, in a sense, whilst I'm all for, so the chicken and egg argument at one level, I would say, which was the chicken, which was the egg, I've now forgotten, but we've got one of them because we've got a lot of skilled people who would actually like to stay here. So we've got to utilize that because we're never going to be, I think, robust from a population size to do all the things that we want to do. So we have to welcome people, and we have to build a state that people are going to want to bring their businesses to because they know that if they do it, there are going to be hard-working, well-trained people here that help them thrive.